Grandma Jean. Oh, gotta retune. This is kind of the tuning thing is a new treat for me. It's nice with pianos and keyboards. They just come tuned. It's really, you don't realize all these little things seem to affect the strings. Sounding good? Good. Okay. So my grandma passed away this year at the ripe old age of 96. And she was a hell of a woman. She's maybe the first person in my life that's passed away that I felt really connected to. We shared a sense of humor, and so I miss her a lot. But I wrote this song, 10 years before she passed, and I interviewed her. I had her tell me all her stories. And Grandma Jean led an extraordinary life. Her father believed that women belonged in the kitchen and sort of having babies and Grandma Jean kind of thought that would be her deal. And then she married her high school sweetheart, Pete. And then he died, when my mom was like 1. And so Grandma Jean was sort of like, it's the Great Depression, or just post-Depression, and, what's she to do? So she figured it out. Back in the day, like my grandma used to say, she was a single mom, raising my mom with money she made. Working in a beauty salon, her husband was gone and her plans got changed. Still she did the best she could back in the day. Closes her eyes and she gets so far away. She's talking at the floor. Your granddaddy bought me that piano after he came home from the war. The world keeps getting stranger, but I still feel the same. I love you now like I loved you then. Back in the day, I had a pair of kangaroos, not the animals, but the tennis shoes. Kept my lunch money in a pocket on the side. I was convinced that the shoes made me jump high. I guess it was because of their name. Still, I loved the idea just the same. That part wasn't about my grandma. Did you figure that out? Closes her eyes and she gets so far away that it feels more like a dream. That's your daddy with a mustache. That's your mommy being free. The world keeps getting stranger, but I still feel the same. I love you now like I loved you then. Afghan rugs and tapestries made from memories and dreams. Growing older, growing young, I'll hold you in my heart as we get ready to become. Grandma Jean had a real sense of style. She always had these fingers that were full of like rhinestone rings, like Liberace. And when we went to clean out her house, because she owned a beauty salon, and then she transferred that into this clothing boutique for the women of Beaver Falls, Ohio. And she had all these amazing clothes. In fact, I made a video dancing around in Grandma Jean's sparkly sequin kind of leisure suit from the 60s. And the thing that's neat is I brought my youngest daughter Ellie, and she didn't really, she's pretty young to be connecting with Grandma Jean, but they totally had a connection. And she just couldn't believe all of Grandma Jean's jewelry. And, everybody else in our family has been like, oh, Grandma, you and all your jewelry. And Ellie just thought, like, this grandma has all this treasure, and this is amazing, and all her clothes are so sparkly. And magical. And so she took a lot of the clothes and she uses them for dress up. And I think Grandma Jean would have been okay with that because she likes dressing up. And the one other thing I'll say about my grandma is that we went out to Ohio for the funeral, and she lived out in Ohio on her own until she was in her 90s, and then we were always like, "Grandma, come live with us in California, it's so nice." And she'd be like, "Oh, no," and we'd just be like, "Oh, why won't she come out here?" And for years, it was like 20 years we were trying to get her to move to California. And then finally we go out to the funeral in Youngstown, and there's all these people, people we've never met, and they just keep coming up to me telling me how much my grandma meant to them. And then suddenly I realized she had this life that I didn't know about, because she always made me feel like I was the center of her world. And so anyway, as I was going to sleep last night, I thought that it would be fun to be a grandpa. And I think I'll be into that. Yeah, in many years, not that many. My daughter's 17. I was 24 when she was born, so shit, 10 years. Call me grandpa, maybe. I'll wear it with pride. Closes her eyes and she gets so far away. She's talking at the floor. Your granddaddy bought me that piano after he came home from the war. The world keeps getting stranger, but I still feel the same. I love you now like I loved you then. I need you now like I needed you then. I love you now like I loved you then, back in the day. Thank you.